morning. And give it a few seconds as people draw or jump on. Hope everyone is having a great morning or doing well, depending on if you're watching this back on YouTube. This was an absolutely crazy week on our end. We're going to jump into that in a moment. This is the least structured episode of Cater Caffeine that I've done, mostly because this week was one of the busiest weeks of my professional career. So we're just going to talk through the week and what we did to survive, because this week was definitely more about survival than thriving. We are all going to have weeks like that, and that is okay. So what is Cater Caffeine? Cater Caffeine is an opportunity to come together once a month to talk about various topics, mostly related to a sales playbook and how to get the most out of your sales process. That is how you approach new clients, how you find them, the partnerships you have in the community, the work that you do to build up your sales team and your email templates and all the things that go along with selling. It really is just an opportunity for us to come together and to share and to grow. And in today's case, for me to have a little bit of therapy, because once again, this week was a lot. So who is Jerome Dees? I am a 20-year vet in the catering space. I started as a delivery driver with Noah's Bagels many, many years ago. 6 months into that, I applied for promotion and I was given 6 stores in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was able to take that and to grow it into 55 locations across Northern California and Washington and Oregon. I blinked and a few years went by and I was overseeing up to 100 direct reports. That was delivery drivers across those 3 states. That was coordinators. That was assisting with training in other regions as new softwares became available. It was a lot of learning as I'd owned my own catering company, but I didn't have official sales training. On my first day, I was handed a catering menu and they said, okay, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to approach it? And they said, go sell stuff. So I learned a lot. I self-taught. I took classes on selling at local community colleges. I did everything I could to improve myself, because if I wasn't going to get that support, I was going to figure out a way to do it. I applied for promotions a few times. That didn't work out. I went over to a company called Le Boulanger where they gave me a director title. It was my first director title, and I was very excited. And I knew that I could be anything I wanted to be in this new company. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew what I was about. So I tried to be the supervisor I always wanted. Over 5 years, that led for me going from a director to a senior director to a VP of sales. I was overseeing a catering department doing maybe $2 million. We got that close to $3 million in that time. But also I was asked to oversee wholesale, and we turned that whole division around and started growing exponentially after they had seen negative growth year over year. From there, because we sold the company and I didn't have a job there anymore, we went on to Wise Sons, where I started off again as a director, just overseeing catering. Pandemic happened, and I ended up going into wholesale again and helped their team take a bagel 4-pack sold locally to a nationally recognized product that found a distributor that was working with Imperfect Produce and selling pallets of products, something they had never done before. I can proudly say that I have sold probably 3.6 million bagels in my career, hundreds of thousands of loaves of bread, if not millions. I've had partnerships with amazing brands like the San Francisco 49ers. I worked with the San Jose Sharks, the Sacramento Kings. I've done a U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. If you name it, I've probably done it in the catering, the wholesale space. Brings me to my current work with Talkalicious, where I'm a VP of sales, overseeing a team of about 25 sales professionals, some of which showed up to work and some of which didn't. We're going to talk about that in a moment. I proudly display behind me my award from the National Restaurant Association. It's a leadership award, both for my work in the restaurant industry, but my work in the community. I'm a firm believer in improving the community, so I volunteer a lot, and I believe in giving back. My childhood wasn't the best, so we're trying to make the world a better place for our kids. In a nutshell, that is who Jerome Dees Jr. is. Here's a link to our sales playbook. This has not been updated, so if you've been with me in previous episodes, what we're going to talk about today, once again, a little less structured, but the sales playbook is there. If you need a resource to help build your own catering program, look here, and I may or may not be working on a catering book that will hopefully come out later this year. So a quick recap, we're not going to go through all this in detail. Needless to say, we've gone through a ton of content over the last year plus, from how to contact different types of targets or prospects, to how you organize your day, how you structure your team, how you communicate internally so that you're getting the most out of the process. We have gone over a lot. If anything on this list resonates with you, or you go, oh my gosh, I don't have a sales process for FTOs, which are first time orders, feel free to go back on YouTube, find that episode, and let me know how you like it. Oh, one thing I do want to highlight, and I really enjoyed this episode. If I were starting over, what would I have wished I had known? Especially for those of you who are new to the industry or just have got your first catering sales manager job. Maybe like me, you're not given the most support and you're having to figure it out. That is an episode I highly recommend. And what's Cater Caffeine without caffeine? Today, and this is my first cup, so this is all natural enthusiasm. Our first cup is a nice regular drip coffee from home with a ridiculous amount of heavy cream. Not half and half, heavy cream. We like our coffee creamy. This year, Cinco and Taco Tuesday landed on the same day. It happened in 2020. It happened this year. It's not happening again until 2037. So the stars aligned. This is one of many events that we did. We were on a rooftop in San Francisco. You see our bar set up. Around that corner, we had a double-sided taco bar where we served 200 people food, 250 people beverages, and the team definitely liked to consume beverages. So the 3 bartenders we had definitely earned their pay that day. It was a crazy day, and we're going to get into story time here in a moment. Once again, maybe more therapy for me to let it all out. We'll talk a little bit about how the day went, what we did before to prepare, how those plans fell apart day of, and what we did to recover. Sometimes you're just going to have to survive an insane day. No matter how much prep goes into it, people are going to call off, people are going to get injured, deliveries aren't going to be right. Some of the partnerships that you have may start to add to the chaos with how they operate. There's a lot that can go into these insane days. And my hope is to share some of my experiences, to give you a couple nuggets that you can start thinking about in the back of your head, because sometimes the stars align, and maybe you're typically doing $10,000 to $20,000 a week, and then out of nowhere, and not out of nowhere, we knew it was coming, but out of nowhere, you have $100,000 a week. How do you scale with your team? How do you get sometimes these small kitchens that are also serving an insane amount of people in the front of the house to prepare food, to get things out, for things to be accurate, for things to be on time? There's a lot of pre-work that can go into this, which is our first topic, the planning phase. We knew that we were going to be busy. We actually turned off our online ordering 5 days before Cinco. It got nuts, and my goal is, if you place an order with me, we are going to take care of you. So for that reason, you need to have an understanding of your capacity, what can come out of the kitchen, how many drivers you have, what can you do in terms of delivery logistics, maybe with some partners that you have. You need to be realistic about what you can do. Push it a little bit, but don't push it so far that if you have 60 orders, 30 of those have issues. That's an atrocious success rate. You're just harming future relationships. As much as I don't want to say no to people, I had customers who are VIP customers reach out to me the day before, and I very kindly explained that we weren't taking any new orders. We were sorry that we couldn't support them, but because I knew we wouldn't be able to execute at the level that I need us to execute at, I wasn't comfortable adding more in. Customers don't want to always hear that, but I hope they at least respected the fact that I want to make sure that if I take this, I'm going to do what we need to do, and we weren't in a position to do that. We ended up having to shut off Easy Cater, and we turned it back on just to see what would happen, and orders started flowing through like crazy, so we turned that back off. So even the crazy day that we had, it could have been even crazier. But in your planning phase, talk with your chefs, talk with your leadership. More times than not, your leadership is not going to want you to say no to anything, whereas your kitchen's going to say, hey, we already have too much. You have to bridge that gap. And We've talked about before in Cater Caffeine, you are selling internally and you're selling externally. So you have to be in a position where you can bridge that gap and communicate between the two parties. Hey, I know you feel like you're overwhelmed, but I'm turning orders off 2 days before. We'll create a checklist of all the things that you have. I'll help you create a list of all the food that you need. And in doing so, because we're braising everything, because we're really just putting things in containers at that point, are we okay to take a few more orders? It's all how you sell it, and not just, hey, we're taking more, figure it out, but we're partners in this. How can we come together? We also created a sheet, and I wish I had it up. I don't. It was every order that a store had, if it was a delivery, if it was a pickup. We also did private dining and had a $10,000 private dining experience in one of our stores. I had that all listed, who the driver was going to be, if it was a third party, because we did overextend ourselves a little bit and we had to use a courier service for some of our deliveries, what courier service it was. I had the kitchen times organized from the start of the day to the end of the day. So someone in the kitchen could go through and either cross things out as they were done, they could highlight something, but it also gave them a master list to double check all of the kitchen sheets they made and all the BEOs they had printed out. So now we have nice systems of checks and balances where, lo and behold, there was an easy cater that slipped through the day before, but because someone double checked that list, we got it printed out, we prepared for it, we didn't miss it because we didn't just count on one system to work, we had multiple double checks. As part of this planning phase, I also had one of my lead servers hop on a call with me, and we went through each of the events. Here's the broker tour that we're doing. It's on the 19th floor of this building. Here's where the loading dock is. Let's go over the equipment list. Do we have the right items? Okay, let's go over the menu. Does the menu still look good? All right, we're giving them an hour and a half typically to set up. Let's give them 2 hours because let's plan for the unexpected. There was a lot of work that went into looking over everything for the next day. Our driver is assigned. Do we need to request a third party? What does it all look like? Let's talk it out. Let's make sure we're not missing anything. To that regard, we did not miss a single order. It can be very chaotic on a day like this where you have 60, 70 orders going out. Plus DoorDash is going crazy with large orders for 20, 30 people at a time. But I'm very proud of the planning phase of this. If you have a huge day coming up, I highly recommend that you take some time, carve out time to go over everything in detail. If you can grab someone from your team, or if you're a team of one like me, grab one of your drivers, grab one of your servers, ask a kitchen manager to sit with you. They don't really have time, but I would wager that they would rather talk through it today and have a successful tomorrow than have to send you a bunch of text day of because things don't seem to make sense. If you don't have a plan, you are going to fail. And on a busy day like that, the last thing you want to do is to have all this money in the register and to start giving refunds or to start giving discounts because something didn't go the way it should have when you had the opportunity to pre-plan. Also, put out an away message and let people know. There was a joke I had with one of the customers that I saw in person that day because I went to a few of the events just to make sure things were going well. And she said to me, I noticed that your out of office message got more aggressive the closer we got to Cinco. Because initially it was, here are all the ways you can order. If it's Easy Cater or DoorDash Catering or directly with us. And then it was, hey, we're not taking orders directly anymore, but you can order through these two options. Both options that could provide a driver so that it was really just a pickup order for us and we can still manage those. And then it went to, hey, if you're reading this, we're no longer taking orders. No explanation, no definitions, just, hey, you waited until the last minute. We're really sorry. We've had customers who have had orders in for a month and a half. We're going to make sure we take care of those orders. So it's okay to create that space for yourself. Create the time to go over everything. Make sure that you over communicate with your team. I have a leadership meeting each Thursday. And for the last month, all I've talked about is what we have locked in, what's coming up, what I think we're going to do, how we should staff. You want to say it so much that the team says, I've got it, and then say it one more time. So now we're in it. We did all the planning. We've got everything printed out. We did all of our double checks. We communicated with the stores. And now the day happens. I think I have a pinched nerve, so it's a little weird to walk right now. So I'm taking BART, which is our public train system, into work. And in doing so, I get my first text message of the day saying that someone hurt their back and they were going to be unable to complete their shift. This shift was 4 people. It's a full service shift where we're taking all the equipment, we're setting up a bar. It's a whole experience. So I'm down one person. Then another one of my servers shares that their dad fell down at home and they have to go. So now I'm down to 2 servers. One of those is an InstaWork server because we were short on staff and we had to supplement. So now I have a 4-person event that should have 4 people. That really has 1.5 because we have someone working with us who really doesn't know our system or what we do or how to set up. That's event 1. Event number 2, I have 2 servers who were scheduled, who didn't look at their schedule and didn't show up. One of those was supposed to help load the vehicle. So in another event where I should have 10 people and 5 of those should be our staff and 5 InstaWork, I have 7 InstaWorkers and 3 staff. The poor staff on that event had to work their butts off to load and unload and get everything situated. It was more of a mess than I wanted it to be, but we're in it now and we've got to figure it out. So as people start calling off, I start requesting additional InstaWorkers. In some cases that worked, in some cases it was too late. I'm on a scooter on my way over to the first event so I can at least make sure they get off to a good start. And I start getting calls that couriers picking up orders aren't taking the whole order. And in that, I have to call some of the third-party companies or to reach out to the courier company directly, depending on which channel it was, and to request that they come back. One of the lessons from this, and if you don't have this in place, I highly recommend it. We should never let a courier leave the store without a full order. And if that means someone from our team is walking them out to their car or at least walking out front with the order so that it's clear and obvious. We had 4 orders or 5 orders where something was missed. And in one case, it was 5 beverages. In another case, it was a couple box lunches. But you have this perfect plan. You have all this food that you've put together. You've done the hard part, and now we just need to hand it out. And because of how chaotic it wasn't as smooth as a transition. My goal was to be at the store helping facilitate those pass-offs. But because I was pulled out of position, someone else was out of position, and you can see where things start to cascade. So even when you plan, even when you have the schedule tight and you have the timing down, the kitchen will get a little backed up because DoorDash starts going crazy and those orders have to go out too. Or individuals may need to call off. Thankfully, I did get good feedback from both events. They went well. So all the chaos behind the scenes, we were able to mask it and get through. From there, it was just a matter of getting through a bunch of other deliveries. We had a full service that went well. But one of the things that I will remind you or recommend, I had a text message with one of my servers. And every time something popped up that, hey, we could have done this a little different, or hey, for next year, we should shift this table slightly so as the people come in and pick up orders, it's in one place and we can put everything on the table. Maybe we even take a picture of the courier in front of 5 bags. So if they take 3, one of my frustrations is I did reach out to one of our third-party partners. Hey, one of the bags was left. Please send the driver back. And the person on the phone decided to tell me that it was my job to make sure that a driver we paid $135 for to take all the food. So now it's on us to get that delivered. It's not their problem. We need to figure it out. I'm going to reach out to that third party directly because one of the things I think they forget sometimes is that we are the customer paying for the service. And I understand that the person ordering the food is also the customer, but they put themselves in a position where we're both customers. And I didn't really feel like I got that support. So we'll put that to the side. Sometimes you're going to be in it. Sometimes no matter how well you've planned, things are going to go crazy. The best thing you can do is to solve one problem at a time, to solve another problem, and to do your best to make sure that the customers don't see it. And if there is a situation where that leaks over to a client relationship, make it right in the moment, but also let them know. I will circle back to you. Right now I'm out, I'm at an event, but your business is valuable to me. Here's what I'm doing right now, but I also want to do something else for you. That doesn't always work because we did have a PDR a couple of days before a private dining where None of the notes were seen. The lady was very upset. We did a significant discount that I didn't want to do. But once again, sometimes you can only react to what is in front of you, and sometimes it's not great. So we did get through it. I had a location that typically does 10 to 15,000, maybe 20,000 on a really good day. They did over $70,000 in business that day. The fact that we did over $50,000 in catering this Cinco de Mayo, where last Cinco we did maybe 22 or 23, and we actually did that with more locations. So we did more business with less locations, which is still astonishing to me. In the aftermath, it is important, all those notes that you took during, and once again, please, if you have a busy day, start a Google Doc, text them to yourself, have all those notes, because I went back and there were things that happened that I forgot about that okay, that's something I need to address, or I see where maybe I could have made this a little bit more clear so the team understood. One of those things, we had a certificate of insurance was requested last minute by the customer. It takes up to 5 days. Our broker wasn't able to turn around. So night before, we still didn't have it. Morning of, we still didn't have it. And they were threatening to not let us in the space. So in my contracts going forward, I'm going to build in that if you don't request it more than 5 business days prior and it doesn't come through, you're still responsible for the full cost of your event. Because I could see where customer might push back, but we do have it outlined in our contract. So there's some verbiage that I need to tweak, something that I realized after the craziness and part of the recovery. I also go through and check with each of the locations. We have a weekly agenda that we all go through in our leadership meeting. So I created a space called Cinco Notes. I sent it out the day after. Hey, while it's fresh, make sure you go in here and add some notes. If it's one of the stores realized that they were still decorating the morning of Cinco, and the manager shared that, hey, we could have done this the day before because it's slower. We don't really have the crazy lunch rush we do on Cinco. I could have had servers put up decorations and make the store look nice. And I'm sure the people the day before would have appreciated it. And then we're just right into Cinco without having that extra work. Absolutely smart. Something we added to the list. Make sure you thank your team. And I'm going to do it again here on Slack in a moment because they showed up and they showed out. I had basically 5 or 6 people doing the work of 14. Yes, we had some Menster workers, and yes, you get some that are amazing. There's some that we probably won't invite back, but a small team was able to share the knowledge they have and offer direction and make sure that things went to plan. One of the events, the larger of the two, they've already started making notes for what they're going to do next year. So now we'll have this event 3 years in a row, and I have $20,000 to $25,000 locked in for next Cinco that I don't have to think about or to worry about. And that's because my team did their thing. So make sure to show appreciation. I'm probably going to offer to take out of my own pocket those who worked for Cinco and actually showed up to lunch, hopefully next week, just to say thank you and to do something nice for them. Have contingencies. Sometimes servers aren't going to show up. We do have Insta work on our phone, and it was very easy once a location is set up to go in and to request another server be added to any event. So as soon as I knew those 2 servers weren't coming in and I'm on public transportation going through tunnels without proper reception, I did go in and add 2 more servers. Thankfully for that one, both of them popped on. So we still had the manpower there to unload, to set up, to get ready. The other location, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get 2 more servers set up. So we were in a position where I just had 2 people that needed to run an event. Thankfully, that event was more of a broker tour, and it wasn't everybody eating at once. And because people were trickling in, we were able to get away with having less staff there. Make sure you have a delivery partner that you can trust. I like to do all of my deliveries in-house, but every now and then we do need someone that we can go to. We work with a group right now where I can just fill out a simple form and they will send someone. They're not always the most polished drivers. And we'll be exploring a partnership with a company that truly does catering deliveries, who's going to show up in the great uniform, have their bags ready, understand it's a catering order. Some of the drivers that showed up, They were kind of surprised by the amount of food that was there, even though we're putting that it's $1,300-$1,400 worth of food. I'm not sure why you would show up expecting that to fit into one bag, but that's neither here nor there. But make sure you have backup plans. What am I going to do if a server doesn't show up? It's tough if you're in a day where you're already maxed out with servers. What are we going to do if a delivery driver doesn't show up? What do we do to bounce back if something isn't picked up on time? How can we communicate with the stores in a way like I did with the sheet? Here's everything you have. Here's who's picking it up. One of the things we realized is I didn't have phone numbers for drivers on that sheet. There were third parties. Well, some of the delivery partners won't even give you that information. You have to call them to call the driver. So how do I provide that information for the store in the future? So they're not calling me while I'm on a scooter to call someone else. So I can then call. I can just give them that information. They can call. Here's my order number. Your driver didn't pick up what they should have. Please send them back. So you want to think through the things that could have gone better and have plans in place for the future so that you're not caught off guard. All of it's a learning experience, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you're in these busy days. This was probably the busiest, most stressful day I've had in quite some time, but we got through it and we survived. We're going to skip the questions because we are still in recovery mode. So we have a lot of catching up to do from this week because I probably had 400 plus emails that I had to sort and to prioritize. And I could see out of the corner of my eye, there are people asking for food this weekend. So thank you for coming to the therapy session for my Tuesday and how crazy it was. In summary, I just want to say that you are going to have crazy days. Sometimes the best you can do is to survive those and have a smile on your face and to do what you can. Things are going to go wrong. Not every order is going to go the way you plan, although we hope it does. But don't be too hard on yourself. We are professionals and we have a team and we can lean on others. It's not always on us, but sometimes you're just going to have to apologize and do what you can to make things right. I hope that you all get slammed with a crazy day soon. Feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn, Instagram. Hey, I just had a crazy day. Here's what happened. Follow me online. I'm happy to connect through Cater Linked. And for now, I'm going to wish you a happy Friday. I hope you're successful in selling. And if you have a nuts day coming up, good luck surviving it.